CLOG TV.
Beyond the policy.
CLOG TV.
Beyond the policy.
Shibuya, yeah, Shibuya, roll call.
My name is Kevin. Yeah, so our motivational quote today is from Mahatma Gandhi, and he's saying that where there's love, there's life. We are in the month of love, February, and he's saying where there's love, there is life. You know, our Creator admonishes us to love. It's a commandment. You can't do anything with that instruction. So let us love, and as we love, there will be life. We have our team which will be giving us back-to-back trends on the online newspaper print review, which is next.
CLOG TV.
Beyond the policy.
You're still watching Coco Digest Morning Show, and this is the online praise review segment. And I have with me here in the studio Nanaya Asari and Clemencia Banquet to have discussions on what is trending and what is making headlines on our newspapers. Also, we have Edna Yeboah, who is by the big giant screen to talk to you about what is happening on the socials and what you are saying on social media. Let's take a look at what is trending. Hi, Edna.
Hi, Fisheries.
How are you, Lady in Black?
Thank you.
All right, that's good. What is happening on social media?
Right, so good morning to you. What's trending? What do I have for you this morning? We have some social media trends, and the first is Ghanaian business tycoon Dr. Osei Kwame Despite launched the Despite Automobile Museum, Ghana's first world-class automobile museum in Ghana. How good it is, right?
Wow.
So, producer, please play me a video of it. This is so nice. He's been an inspiration since a display of luxurious cars, and I think that people will get the opportunity to have a feel of it. We will just play a little amount, and then we'll get to have a feel of these luxurious cars.
This looks like old cars, but to me, I would prefer one of these to any other cars that are trending today.
Exactly, it's so
and
nice.
You don't like any of this?
I prefer the
but
blue one.
But they are too good for a museum.
Exactly. So I think that he wants us to have a feel of the olden luxurious cars. Okay. For me, I've not seen this around, so I think it's very nice to have these. And then he's very what's the name, inspirational, because he invested, he invested so much to it. But you know our people, they have some comments. Let me read them. So the first is from Gloria Osafo, and she says, we love to see beautiful things like this. Yeah. The second one is from Jonathan. He says, I wish Despite was Ghana's vice president.
Yeah.
Who wouldn't wish?
I was actually listening to something. They were comparing him to Cheddar.
Oh no.
I was like, nah, just look at it, Kelly.
Because
one lion versus many cars.
Exactly. I like this for him because he invested so much in this. And you know our people, some were like, oh, he could have used the money he invested for other projects. But I say, whatever be the case, this is new, and then this is one of a kind in Ghana, and we appreciate this for him. Moving on to our second story. This is what happened during the Grammys Award, and then it's Temilade Openyini, who is popularly known as Thames. She won her second Grammy Awards. Her first one was actually an album with Wizkid, and then this time around, it's a single, so it is a very much big deal for her. And a lot of people are saying congratulations. Producer, please play a video of her receiving the award during the Grammys. She looks so beautiful.
Yeah, that's Tim. She's the only African who has got such an award this time around. There were so many nominations.
There were Burna Boy, Chris Brown, Justin Bieber.
Yeah, and we also have our final story. I think it's about the tragic incident that happened during Kotoko and the other teams playing. I think you would love to share what is happening on social media on that too.
Exactly. So there was a post this morning, and it says Ignatius Bafo Ewa, owner of Inswatreman FC, has been arrested by the Bono Regional Police Headquarters following an incident that made one lost his life. And it's so sad. Please, viewer discretion is advised. He was stabbed, a very die-hard fan of Asante Kotoko, and unfortunately, he lost his life. Beatrice, I'm handing over to you.
All right, so that will be tackled by the sports analyst here. Naneo, I know you have so much insight into this situation. What really happened?
Yes, good morning to you and our cherished viewers. As usual, we we hoped to bring you the best and first-hand information on CLOG Sports yesterday night. We had some first-hand people who witnessed the scene right from the inception or the beginning of the whole incident that occurred to the end. And according to eyewitness, we also spoke to security analysts of the NSA and what the security protocols that are supposed to be in place for these kind of situations or these kind of events. But what we realized was that the protocols that were supposed to have been in place for all these the prevention of all these occurrences were not in place. For instance, there were supposed to have been 120 policemen on site for the game for a high-profile match for Kumasi Asante Kotoko and in Swaziland. But when the game commenced, or by the time at the commencement of the game, it was just 25 policemen. That means they were short of 95 policemen. So that could show the extent of neglect to which care was not taken and this incident occurred. Also, we had, I mentioned earlier that we had first-hand information or first-hand from an eyewitness who was on the pitch and saw everything that transpired. Okay. According to him, he even tried helping the victim or the deceased to get into an ambulance, but the ambulance driver was not seated in the ambulance and they had to use what we popularly call a pragya to transport him to the medical facility. That's the Nswatre Medical Center. But by the time they got there, he had already met his unfortunate demise. And a lot of things are happening, but I would not want to speak much into details based on hearsay or maybe witnesses and all that. But in the end, it looks as though all fingers were pointed at Honorable Ignatius Bafui. But when you look at his personality and his character, it doesn't match up because there are conflicting reports. Because the first time, some people are saying that he was calling the Kotoko hierarchy, that's the people at the upper echelons of Kotoko hierarchy to come down, to come and sort of calm tensions down. And then the people did not want the Kotoko hierarchy to onto the pitch to calm down tensions between the players and then the supporters who had trespassed. But
I saw a video of him on the pitch and he was trying to calm.
Exactly. Yes. So that was what I was trying to talk about. He was trying to calm down situations or tensions down. And then in the long run, what we are hearing is that, mainly people that are affiliated to the Kotoko hierarchy, is that he didn't want to sort of cooperate with the security personnel and was actually inciting the Nswatre fans against one particular guy called Francis Frimpong.
Is it Poli?
Yes, also known as Nana Poli, who maybe they had altercation and he wanted Nana Poli out of the stadium because he did, according to him, there wasn't some respect shown and all that. So it was.
So he pointed him out from the crowd. I learned he directed him to come and meet him somewhere.
These are reports, but not directed him to come and meet him somewhere, but directed him the stadium.
Out of the stadium instead.
Nana Poli didn't go out of the stadium. He remained in the stadium after he knelt down to beg Honorable Ignatius Bafui. So we all thought tensions had been calmed and all that. But looking at how the game was going, when you are at an away ground and without a lot of security protocols in check, Nana Poli and his friends advised him that it would be better if he leaves the stadium because the way eyes and fingers are pointing at him. So he actually told his friends that he will go ahead and wait for them at Sunyane, which is just about 20 minutes drive away from the stadium, so that when he gets to Sunyane, when his friends are coming back, then they will meet him. And on his way out, according to reports, once again, a lady called Adra China saw him and then threw a stone at him that, are you not Nana Poli? Are you not the one, and he dodged it. And then before he realized, a lot of people had come around because of that particular scuffle that happened between him and Adra China.
And that's where he was stabbed.
And that was where he was stabbed. So,
that's
I mean, there are
Ignatius Honorable has been arrested.
Yes, he's been arrested, but usually you can be arrested to assist in investigations.
Okay.
So I'm sure that's what has happened, and hopefully we hope that a lot of these things or a lot of light would come to bear because Honorable, I know him well, from the former Labour Minister, and looking at his lifestyle and the kind of demeanor that he often has, it doesn't look like he's someone that would actually incite violence against people.
But I don't want to cut you, but when you look back at 2001, when the incident happened at the sports stadium, FA came out to tell us that they would keep educating their fans, so such things don't occur. One life, I think, is too many. Yes. This time around.
We talked about security protocols, and we talked about so there's one particular institution called the Club Licensing Board. So now they are supposed to license the clubs in terms of the infrastructure that they have in place, in terms of, and then also with every match there's supposed to be a match commissioner who is supposed to check that security.
I see this. There's so much into this, but I hope the perpetrator will be brought to book.
Exactly. Let's not dwell on this because we have other issues to talk about.
It's a bright morning. Let's move to our next story. This is Nana Koyu engages GWL to end Kaswa water crisis. Kaswa is in the trends again, but this time around, they are in need of something. It's not for a bad thing. So residents of Kaswa are currently experiencing of the most severe water crisis in recent years, with many communities lacking access to water for almost 3 months. This critical situation has compelled thousands to travel long distances or depend on expensive private water vendors. And moving on with that story, we learned Dr. Phyllis Nakoyo Okuno, the MP for Ewutu Senya, is bringing solutions to this and has recognized the urgent need to address the water crisis in Kaswa. Kaswa and its vicinities, I know Kaswa, their surroundings and the nature of their buildings and all that, the crowded people in Kaswa is leading to this kind of things. What do you have to say?
Yes, so once again, good morning to viewers.
Good morning.
Today is a brand new day. Yes, up and grateful. And we're in a month of love.
You heard.
You heard.
Let's move to Kaswa this time around.
Yeah,
they need something.
I mean, we cannot talk. We're talking about Kaswa. Kaswa and love, they are like.
They are fast.
They are not.
I mean, if you're in Kaswa, if you live in Kaswa, how can you fall in love?
Please, let's move on to what you have to say.
Yes, let's move on. Question. So the issue of Kaswa, it's not today. I think it has been there since 2015 of this water crisis, and I think one of the major causes of this issue is the sake of urbanization.
Okay.
How Kaswa is expanding, because when you take a look at Ghana Water Limited, their plans or their structure, their developmental projects they did way back Kaswa then. They targeted a particular number of people, or they just assumed that maybe in the next few years we are going to see expansion in population by, let's say, 10% or 20%. But looking at now, Kaswa is overpopulated. So I would say that is one major cause of the crisis they have there. And another thing will be the fact that it's not what the machines they use. I would say that they are quite outdated, because they should be able to come out with the new machines. When you go to Kaswa, for example, people who live on a hilltop are not able to get water. The reason being that water can't flow on the mountain to those living at the hilltop. So these people are supposed to come down to those to fetch water, and as a result of that, they are supposed to get access to these private water suppliers, and it's going to be very high. So you see, Ghana Water Company is supposed to expand and also try to use new machines in distributing water. On the aspect of the current MP, it's a good step, because we know the former member of parliament tried it severally, and yes, so the problem is there, and she is saying that they are going to have a long-term solution. But for now, the short term is that she's going to provide polytanks to residents who are affected by this situation. I think it's a good cause. And I also think that we should also involve the private sectors. We have some private companies. When you go to Western, we have a company like Numa, which provide boreholes to residents. So they come to your area. If you don't have water, they construct a borehole, they put a tank on it for you, and they supply you. Every month, I think you just have to pay. So they should involve this privatization people to help. Since Ghana Water Company is not having that capacity to provide for the people of Kaswa in that large quantity, I think they should involve this private individuals. And another cause is illegal connection. Yes. So I think my people of Kaswa, they know it. Illegal connection. Yes, they are just tapping it.
Are you from Kaswa anyway?
Oh, I'm not from Kaswa, but our central region, at least. Alcohol. And at least my producers from Kaswa.
The place is overcrowded. I think
Yes.
that's one of the factors. Everybody is moving to Kaswa or the other place.
Yeah, no.
They are counterparts.
So first, let me just say that I was saying it on a lighter note when I was
Sure.
talking about Kaswa before Kaswa residents come in. I mean, Kaswa, when you look at the plan for which the environment around the Ubutu Senior East District is purported that around 255,000 people make up the total population of that particular environs. And for a whole constituency, I should say, as big as Kaswa, to be having a water problem in 2025, I think then as a nation and as a developmental plan or as an institution, I can clearly say that we are failing, because in this century, in 2025, water is an issue. I mean, there are so many ways of extracting groundwater to make sure that solutions are born. I mean, trying to get polytanks and all that for them might be just a stopgap or maybe just met it out to just few party faithfuls. Yeah. But if you are going to serve a community, then there are a lot of groundwater extraction options that you can actually exploit or explore to make sure that your community is served. So the Honourable should actually sit down with some water experts and not think that serving polytanks, because when you serve the polytanks, they'll still need to...
That's the temporal solution, but I'm sure
the long
he
term,
has engaged the Ghana Water Company Limited and stakeholders.
But what happens, right, when it comes to these providing tanks and then to solve this issue? Now, we know that there are points, or there are, in my area, for instance, there's also a little bit of water scuffle. And what happens is that there are areas that, let's say, there are main water points that when they are opened, the whole community will be able to get water. Now, what they do is that they block it and then sell it to these water tankers. So that means the homes, in your homes, you not get water, and then you'll be forced to buy from the water tankers.
All right, I'm sure she'll find a lasting solution to this particular situation and crisis. What do you have to say in seconds?
What I want to say is that Ghana Water Company have to bring out a strategic plan. This is not only Kaswa, as Nana is saying.
Even Ghana, here, just here.
So you need to get a plan that's in the next 5 years. How do you want to see our water supply system? How does it distribute? So it should be something that shouldn't be only limited to Kaswa, but it should be the nationwide issue that we need to look at.
I think this is linked to our next story, which is talking of the electricity we use also. There's a story where it says that there has been a sharp increase in technical losses for the Electricity Company of Ghana as a result of alarming rates of meter tampering around the nation. Recipes. The business addressed the issue during the press conference yesterday, revealing that almost 10% of 70,000 installed meters in Dansoman alone has been tampered with, resulting in their under-reporting electricity usage. So Dansoman is also, as I said, Dansoman is also in the news. They are tampering with meters. How are they able to account for this? How is the electricity company able to account for this?
If I really remember, ECG told us that these new meters, there's no way you can do illegal connection.
I heard that.
Yeah, so if they communicated this to Ghanaians, and now people are finding their ways to do illegal connection, meaning that...
Isn't it the workers from the electricity company?
That is the point I'm going to come from, because I can't just stand up and, for example, this phone, I can't just stand up and work on it if I have no idea about the phone.
Okay.
we are not saying that workers
You mean
of
someone
ECG.
has studied the meter?
Yes, yes. We are not saying that workers of ECG are the one involved.
No.
Yes.
That's not what we
but
are
what you are
saying.
trying to say that
an
some
insider,
people,
you should know the device.
Exactly, we should know the device. So I think people know the device, and they are tempering it. But all these issues started in January 13th when ECG released a press that they are going on operation, that is keep your lights on, revenue mobilization. It's going to, I think, 2 weeks. They started 15th January and it ended on 31st. That exercise, and they also wanted to know how do you call, strong or the integrity of the new prepaid meter. So as a result of that, that's when they realized that I think 10% of the meters installed at Dansoman, over 700,000 meters installed in Dansoman, have been tampered with illegal connection. And now we've heard ECG board saying that they are going to take action, and a committee is going to be set up. They'll be going to look into all these things and stuff. Yes, we've heard about this incident. Previously, we've gotten people who have had issues with illegal connection. How did they resolve the issue of previous incidents of illegal connection? So if we get to know how that previous issue was being resolved, that will inform us that this current issue is going to be resolved in another wonderful way. When we look at data tells us that way back 2021 till now, ECG has been recording losses. Way back 2021, we recorded 20% loss in our revenue.
I have a comment here. Let me read that quickly. It says, hello, Coco Digest. Great team there. I am Mr. Boaben from Kumasi. This issue has been there for 12 years. Please keep discussing this issue because Ewutu Senya East constituency is suffering. I am Madam Ajua Kwansa from Kaswa. Yeah, so residents of Kaswa are reacting to the Kaswa issue. So
on the issue of ECG, as I said, ECG, we should get to know what did they do earlier with issue of illegal connections. And now you are telling us you're going to do again. What are you going to do? What is the new thing you're going to bring on board? If ECG are having losses, is it one of the ways of sealing the loopholes over there? If that is one of the ways, that is a very good thing. We've heard in the news about ECG privatization and all these things. I know this is one way that they want to solve the issue of losses in ECG. But one thing I also want to tell Ghanaians is that let us put up the spirit of loving what we have. We always complain of ECG having losses. We always complain ECG is not performing well. But why are we involved in illegal activities? Why are we tempering the meters we are supposed to protect? So people or residents, I will not only limit it to Dansoman. Dansoman is a place now they've seen. When they go to other places, they will see more than what they actually see down so much. So I would say that Ghanaians, let's have the love for the country. You shouldn't only be the leaders. We keep on complaining leaders are not doing well, MPs are not doing well, but look at what we are doing.
They spoke about digitalization, and now we've given them something that is an advanced version of what they had, and now they are finding ways to eliminate that.
I don't want to be the devil's advocate over here, but once again, let me also take it from another point of view. Anytime ECG seeks to bring an innovative solution or make something better, it's the end users that are at the detriment of everything. We are the ones bearing the cost. We are the ones bearing the consequences. Now, ECG will say that they are advancing new meters. And then you go and check. The new meter that they brought runs faster than the previous one that you had, which had no issue.
That was alleged.
What is
that was alleged.
So,
yes, so we are done for our online newspaper print review. Just hold on, guys. We'll come again with this particular discussion. But for now, you have something to say. No, up next is the lifestyle segment. Please stay.
to the lifestyle segment. I am your host, Edna Yeboah-Boateng. Don't forget, we are live on Facebook and on YouTube at CLOG TV. And also, there are numbers displayed boldly on the screens. Do well to WhatsApp us so we interact. This morning, our topic for discussion is very sensitive. Hence, I have here with me a passionate founder from the Spell Africa International and Street to School campaign, who will be taking us through challenges that street children faces. Hello, Madam Gifty Akwejevu. That's her name. Good morning, Madam Gifty Akwejevu.
Good morning. Good morning, Accra. Good morning, Ghana.
Point of view, she's a Nigerian, so pardon us with her English. Good morning to you once again.
Good morning.
You are so beautiful.
Thank you so much.
How are you doing?
I'm fine.
All right. So since you are a founder for the Spell Africa International, what motivated you to start this organization?
Okay. The word SPELL stands for Saving the Poor, Enhancing Learners, Leaders Through Literacy. Spell Africa International is a non-profit organization that gives scholarship to children who are less privileged, children who are not going to school, children who cannot afford education. And that's why we also organize spelling bee competitions to help motivate the interest of children in education. I witnessed a tragic accident.
But then before, do you do this alone or you have sponsors?
Okay. We get sponsorship from our spelling competition. Proceeds from our spelling competition is used to fund the children who are less privileged.
Okay, that's fine. All right.
So we get individuals who also support us.
Okay.
Yeah, to get to pay the children's school fees. So school for scholarship under our scholarship scheme.
All right.
So in the year 2013, I was in my third year in school.
Okay.
I was on my way back from school. I witnessed this tragic incident that happened. A group of armed robbers were killed and the bodies were dumped on the ground. So people were just looking at them. Curiosity, I was just passing. I was like, what's happening?
Yeah.
I decided to just peep and see what's going on. And then I saw this gang of armed robbers that were killed and the bodies were dumped on the ground. And among them was this young boy. And
what was its age?
Yeah, I did some findings and I found out the boy was just 16 years. But I was wondering, like, what could lead to a 16-year-old boy
being an
armed robber? What is the cause? What is the problem? And I made some findings. I found out that the boy's parents were not together.
Oh, okay.
So in order for him to fend for himself and the younger siblings, he started pickpockets. They call pickpockets in Nigeria, where someone will just snatch your bag from you and then the person runs away with your bag. And then because of peer group influence, he graduated from pickpocket into carrying arms. And fortunately for him, that very fateful day, they killed all of them. It was a very painful thing. And as an undergraduate, then I told God, far back 2013, I said, God, if you bless me, I will ensure and see to it that a minimum of 1,000 children.
Don't be emotional.
Yeah. Whenever I'm sharing the stories, it's always a painful thing because it looks as if it just happened yesterday.
Yeah, I get you. I
told God that if He blesses me, I'm going to see to it that a minimum of 1,000 children get scholarship for primary and secondary education. And if He blesses me more, I will ensure that they also get university education. That was far back 2013.
That's a very good initiative.
So when I finished school, 2014, I joined the Living Faith Church in the year 2016. There I had Bishop Olani Yoyedepo preaching for the first time, talking about vision. I asked God in prayer. I prayed earnestly and I asked God, what is my purpose of existence?
Exactly.
And in the year 2017, the month of April, I was in the house by myself. I saw myself like watching a TV in a lighted hall. I was holding the microphone, addressing children. There I got the name Spell Africa International. I took my jotter and I quickly wrote down the name. A non-profit organization that gives scholarship to children who are less privileged and also organizes spelling bee competition to help motivate the interest of children in education. And the first person I told about the vision were my parents. They were never in support of it. My mom was like, you want to start giving scholarship to people's children? You don't even know.
You had passion for it.
Yes. And then my parents were like, no, are you a philanthropist? Where will you get the money from to start sponsoring people's children?
Exactly.
But I told my mom, I told her that God is going to provide. So that was how I started Spell Africa 2017. We had the first event at the Burge University of Technology. We had the first event on a Saturday, 28th of October. And we had over 500 children present at the spelling bee. Then we had one child, Oluwaseyi, on full scholarship in partnership with Noble Crown Schools. That was the first edition.
Right.
The second year, we had the second, third, fourth edition on the year 2018. Then we had 3 more children heading to Oluwaseyi. So from 2017 October to date, we now have 33 less privileged children on full scholarship.
You've done so well, and God bless you.
Thank you so much.
But then, while you were talking, how did you get these kids from the streets? Do you go to them personally, or you use their family members? You talk to them for them to give you their kids and then train them in their spelling and also ever. How did you do that?
Okay. How we get the children to give them scholarship is during school hour, between the hour of 8 a.m. and 2 p.m. in the afternoon. When you come out from your place, you're going to see children who are not going to school in the streets.
Yeah.
You see them in the market. Yeah. Some of them hawking on the road. I've been privileged to travel 12 African countries. I was in Rwanda, I was in Kenya, I was in Gambia, I was in Sierra Leone, I was in Liberia, I've been in Ghana 5 times.
And all these countries,
it's not a Nigeria thing. They have children who are not going to school.
Yeah.
I saw them with my own eyes. It's even more in the northern part of Nigeria. I was in Yobe, I was in Taraba, I was in Jigawa, I was in Adamawa, Taraba State, Kanu. There are so many children who are not going to school. So in order for us to reach out to these children is the essence of this campaign, the challenge of the street to school, 1,000 scholarship campaign, in order for us to get across to so many children who are not in school, not just in Nigeria alone, across all the African countries, in Mali, in Burkina Faso, in Senegal. I've traveled all of these countries. There are children who are not going to school. So that is why we're doing this challenge, for traveling from Nigeria to Buckingham Palace in London.
Well, so we have a short documentary of street children, specifically in around the National Theatre and also Accra. Producer, please play a video of it for me.
Children in the greater Accra region of Ghana. This phenomenon, according to many civil society activists, is a rising social concern as more children take to the streets on a daily struggle to survive. Most of these children are unable to access their rights to education, safety, quality health care, and rights to a decent standard of living. Most of these children, as you can see, do not only stand to be victims, but they also stand the risk of being recruited into dangerous vices such as armed robbery, prostitution, among others. Here at the Circle Overhead Bridge, you see street children sitting on the floor with their guardians. They beg for arms to survive, with many of them extending their begging activities to the Accra Mall, the traffic lights intersection at Paloma, and many other places. Until every street child is safe, no street child is safe. Let's stand together and give a voice to children who live, work, and spend their days and nights on the street.
Every day, more and more children are forced to leave home to fend for themselves on the street, with an estimated 90,000 reported to be on the streets of Accra, scavenging, begging, and hawking on the streets to survive. These children are either chased from home by violence, death of a parent, and sometimes divorce. Some are very young. I have seen 10-year-olds on these dangerous streets, facing life.
Until every street child is safe, no street child is safe, right? So, Madam Gifty, how do we prevent these street children from all these? Are we channeling it to their parents or the street children themselves?
One way to prevent this is provide quality education for them.
But how many people can afford this quality education?
Yeah, the reason why these children are on the streets is because of poverty.
Because their parents themselves
cannot even feed 2 square meals a day.
Exactly, you get me.
Like a child we got scholarship.
Yeah.
In fact, all the children we have, 33 of them, they have parents. None of them are orphans.
Really?
Yeah. The parents who cannot even feed 2 square meals a day.
Yeah.
How does the parent pay the school fees for the children?
They can't.
A lot of them are suffering, many people. So they can't even feed. Some of the children have been to school before, and after first term school fees, the parents could not pay for second term. The school, of course, it's not an orphanage home.
Exactly.
Definitely, they will tell them to stay at home.
Yeah.
So, and God helping us, we have 33 of them, and then 2 just finished secondary school, and then we're planning to send them to the university as well.
Wow.
So when you give a child education, you've given him life.
Yeah.
If you leave them in the streets, they will become nuisance to the society. They'll become nuisance to themselves. You see them becoming prostitutes, having children at a very tender age. Every child in school has a vision.
Yeah.
You know, I've worked with over 10,000 children in Nigeria through our spelling bee competition. I mean, across over 20 states in Nigeria. We've had a competition in 28 states and 30 states in Nigeria. There is nowhere where we have children gathered and then you ask them, because I always ask the question, who wants to become an armed robber?
No one.
None of them will raise up their hands.
Exactly. They all have
Who
a
wants to
bright
become a
future.
prostitute? None of them will raise up their hands. But when you ask students, puppies, what do you want to become? Auntie, I want to become a doctor. I want to become a nurse.
Yeah.
I want to become a teacher. I want to become an engineer.
Exactly.
No child in school wants to become a prostitute. No child in school wants to become an armed robber. Every child in school has a vision.
Yeah.
That is it. So when you give a child education, you've given him life. Taking the children off the street and back to school, you've given them life. That is the best gifts you can give to a child.
Exactly.
Because the child stand at risk. There was a child that was killed by vehicle because the child was hawking at school hour. If the child was in school,
that wouldn't have
happened.
Yeah.
So I'm even pleading to the government to stop children from hawking on the streets.
So this leads me to my question, which is, do they face any social vices? Some prostitution, armed robbery and those stuff. Did you get some students that have had these experiences before?
No, I have not gotten any child who had that experience before.
Okay.
I haven't, so I've not witnessed it. Okay. But I've had cases of children who are on the streets. Like in my state, in Delta State, many children are out of school. And what the parents even do, like this popular Yahoo cybercrime, some of the children who are not going to school, they tend to go into cybercrime.
For quick money.
Yeah, for quick money. But when they are in school, you see that they don't have this thought of wanting to make quick money. They want to write their exams.
They want to go the right way.
Yeah, the right way. They want to write their exams. I mean, people like us, we went through the right channel.
Yeah.
And that is where God has brought us to, because we passed through the primary education, having secondary education, having university education. It renews the mind. Exactly. But a child who is not going to school, it's like, what do I say? There's a garbage in, garbage out. Whatever you put in, that's what you're going to get in return. Yeah. So everyone deserves education. So according to SDG 4, every child deserves quality education. So that is why we are doing this.
Okay, thank you so much. And are there some policies that can create a sustainable impact for these children?
Okay. Like I mentioned earlier, the spelling bee competition helps us to get funds, to raise funds for those children. Okay. So proceeds from our competition is used to sponsor children who are less privileged, to give them education. Okay. So as an organization, Spell Africa International, we've been able to give scholarship to 33 less privileged children.
Do you have some in Ghana?
No, we don't have anyone here in Ghana.
Okay.
But however, this campaign is helping us to create an awareness for Spell Africa International to help get more children off the street and back to school.
So are you looking forward to work with NGOs to bring
to partner, yes,
to partner in Ghana.
Yes, to partner in Ghana as well, so that we can get as many children as we can off the street and back to school.
Because we have a lot of street children around, and it's so emotional seeing them. Sometimes they come by your car, and then when you give them money, they go straight to their parents, and then you see them dropping the money in their hands. But then looking at it, in a day, how much will you get? Will it be equivalent to a 3 square meal, like proper 3 square meal? And then you feel like, oh, so where are they going to sleep in the evening? How do they even cater or treat themselves when they are not feeling well? It's quite emotional, and then it will really help if you are in Ghana partnering with an organization.
That's fine. And what we also do is, apart from paying the children's school fees, we take care of everything. The child's school bag, the child's textbooks and notebooks, uniform, we cater for everything, because we don't want a situation whereby we are paying for the child's school fees and they say, okay, there's no uniform. The parents cannot afford the uniform. So we cater for everything. And the children we have on scholarship, we cater for their books, their textbooks. When they need a change of uniform, we get new uniform for them, sandal, socks, and all of these things they need, we get it for them, so that we don't have challenges of, okay, it's because the child does not have book, that is why the child was not in school.
Yeah.
So we cater for everything to ensure that the child gets proper education.
You're doing so well.
Thank you so much.
God bless you once again. Today you are receiving a lot of blessings from me, because you are doing something that many people would want to, but then they don't have the right means to do it, or they don't use the right path in doing so. And God bless you once again.
Thank you so much.
I have a comment. I would want to read it out. So,
okay.
This is from Abena. She says, I own a foundation similar to yours, but we organize initiatives to help the young ones with vocational skills to better their future. Sometimes these children come for the class, and in the next session or next week, they don't show up, or others show up and don't come. Trust me, sometimes I feel like lashing these children to stop their behavior, but I try to advise them. I want to ask how you were able to convince the parents of these children and the children themselves to get into your scholarship scheme and become committed. I think you've explained it, but then you can go once more.
Okay.
First and foremost, was it difficult convincing their parents to allow them into this initiative?
No, it wasn't difficult.
Okay. I mean, who wouldn't want good things for their children?
Every parent wants good things for their children.
Yeah.
So when we get the children, we follow them to their house.
Okay.
First, to know the parents, to get to know why the child is not in school. And then we let them know, okay, would you want your child to get education? That's the first question. Yeah. They are so excited. Yes, please, we want education. I want my child to be in school. It's because I don't have money. That's why my child is at home. And I tell you, there has never been any case that I regretted, like, okay, did we send this child to school? And then the parents all of them, they are grateful.
But then have you gotten any challenges personally?
Yes, we do have challenges.
Name 2.
Yeah. For example, we had a case with a child who can only understand Yoruba.
That would be hard.
Yeah, the child does not understand English at all. So we had to repeat class.
Yeah.
Repeat class.
Extra pressure.
In fact, first of all, we had to start teaching the child how to speak English.
Yeah.
So it took us 3 years.
Straight 3 years.
Straight 3 years to just learn how to speak English. We were paying school fees every time.
Oh.
Just learn how to speak. Yeah. Before we now started, okay, start learning how to write. So these are some of the challenges. And I'm a very patient person. I believe that every child should be given equal opportunity. So because the child cannot speak good English, so we'll take the scholarship and give it to another child. We were patient with Oluwaseyi. And I tell you today, Oluwaseyi that cannot understand English, you say, come, he's looking at you. Oluwaseyi can speak good English. Say, Miss Gift, how are you? I say, you are the one telling me how are you. So Oluwaseyi can speak English. He can write very well. I was very patient with him. Okay. Though his education was delayed because, you know, we took time in helping him to start learning how to speak English before he started writing, and he kept improving. Then we had another child who picks, who steals. Oh. Yeah, he comes to school and then we hear, Miss Gift, your child is always stealing from the school. We don't want he's destroying the image of the school. And then I called the principal. If he's your child,
yeah, what will
you stay at home?
No.
What will you do? Say, Miss Gift. I say yes. Let's keep telling him that stealing is not good. So we kept talking to him.
Okay.
Don't pick people's things. So we kept monitoring him. When he comes to school, we check his bag.
Okay.
When he's going back home, we check his bag. And sometimes we'll call him. Don't you know that stealing can take your life? We start talking to him. Gradually, we started seeing that changes of him not picking things anymore.
Right.
So these are some of the challenges we face.
Okay.
So if I'm a parent and I have such a child, will I say because my child is picking, so I'll just keep the child away?
Not at all.
I'll look for ways to help that child grow. Had grown stealing and picking things. Had grown fighting in school. So it's take a lot of time and patience, and then you pray about it as well. Okay. Because every time I'm having challenges, first thing I go back to God in prayer.
Right. Your last words.
Okay. My last words. We need support.
Okay.
If we must take 1,000 children off the street and back to school, of course, we need that support. We need the public to support us. So the campaign from street to school.
Okay.
Altar to Buckingham Palace. That's why I'm here in Ghana. So I'm moving from Ghana. I'm going to Mali, from Mali to Senegal until I get to London.
Okay.
So we have a GoFundMe account for this campaign. We need you to support us in order to get more children off the streets and back to school. So whatever support we get from you, we really appreciate it. And we need you to also follow the campaign as I journey across countries until I get to London. Thank you so much.
All right, 1 minute to tell them about you and then your organization. 1 minute.
Okay. My name is Gift Akwejevo. I'm founder and president of Spell Africa International and the Unstoppable Gift Initiative. The word SPELL stands for Saving the Poor, Enhancing Leaders Through Literacy. Spell Africa International is a non-profit organization that gives scholarship to children who are not going to school, children who cannot afford education, and as well we also organize spelling bee competitions to help motivate the interest of children in education. As an organization, we have 33 less privileged children on full scholarship and have successfully organized and planned 15 editions of our spelling competition. Ongoing in Nigeria is the 16th edition of our spelling competition across 28 states in Nigeria. So this is who I am and this is what I do.
Thank you so much for this initiative and God bless you.
Thank you so much.
Right, that's all we have for you on today's lifestyle segment. Moving on is the birthday segment. We'll be right back.
Was your birthday? I heard today was your birthday. I heard today was your birthday. I heard today was your birthday.
Welcome back, and it's time for the birthday segment. Birthdays are to be celebrated, and since we are in the month of love, we should share our love to everyone. On our first birthday, this is from Madame Catherine Hamilton, and she says, staff of the Greater Accra Regional Office of the Authority wants to express our gratitude to you for your continuous support and guidance. As you turn a year older, we pray for God's abundant blessing to receive wisdom, wealth, and honor. May the good love you, Ma'am, and Kate. The next one, please. This is from Pearl, and she says, happy birthday to my baby girl, Pearl. Wishing you, this is to Pearl, sorry. And then it's from Mommy. She says, happy birthday to my baby girl, Pearl. Wishing you many more years of God's blessing and grace upon your life. Thank you so much, Mommy. The next one. Well, and that's all we have for you on today's birthday segment. Moving on is the sports segment with Nana Yao Asari. Stay tuned.
Good morning once again. This is Sports on Coco Digest. My name is Nanaya Wasari. Now let's take a look at the stories that are making up the headlines in the world of sports. The first one says that in Swatri hooliganism incidents, DCOP Lydia Donko heads investigation. Also in other stories, Black Leopards saw Kunedu after Lerumo defeat. Courtney Bryant from Great Britain sets 3,000-meter world lead. And Aston Villa completes loan deal for Rashford. This and many other stories that we'll be discussing after this short break. Now let's take a look at the stories in detail. This one says, the Ghana Football Association has appointed Deputy Commissioner of Police Lydia Donko to lead an investigation into the violent clashes during the Ghana Premier League match day 19 between Nsoatreman FC and Asante Kotoko on 2nd February 2025. The incident, which involved players and fans, resulted in the tragic death of one Kotoko supporter, Francis Frimpong, popularly known as Nanapoli, and left many injured. The GFA has condemned the violence and is committed to a thorough investigation to address and reduce such incidents in Ghana football, promising to take actions against those responsible. In our next story, Black Leopards have sacked Maxwell Kunedu after a 2-1 loss against Lerumo United, which left the team in 10th place in the Motsepe Foundation Championship. Kunedu, who had high expectations after his success with the Nsoatreman FC, was unable to deliver results. The club is reportedly considering Venda Football Academy coach Stan Nkwane as his replacement. Additionally, there may be a chance for Kunedu to return to a coaching role, but the Black Stars after their failure to qualify for the 2025 African Cup of Nations. Then in our next story, Courtney Bryant from Great Britain sets 3,000-meter world lead. Melissa Courtney Bryant from Great Britain ran the fastest 3,000-meter time globally this year at the World Athletics Indoor Tall Gold meeting in Boston. She sets a new personal best of 8 hours, 28 minutes, 69 semi-seconds, and securing the win just over the second ahead of Elise Cranny. Courtney Bryant is now the second fastest Briton over the distance, with Laura Murr holding the top spot. Exciting performances from the athletes like Georgia Bell and Hannah Nuttall were also notable at the event. Additionally, Diana Asher Smith had a strong finish in the 300-meter event. Looking ahead, the European Indoor Championships and World Indoors promise more thrilling competitions in the upcoming months. Now, in our final story, Aston Villa has completed the loan deal for Marcus Rashford. They have just secured the loan signing of Marcus Rashford from Manchester United. The 27-year-old will be with Villa until the end of the season with an option to buy for 40 million British pounds. Villa won't pay a loan fee, and at least 75 of Rashford's wages will be covered. The team has been active in the transfer market, bringing in players like Andres Garcia and Daniel Merlin, and as well as Marco Asensio. However, they've also seen some departures like John Duran and Diego Carlos, with injuries affecting the squad, including Oli Watkins. Villa is looking to change their lineup. This sounds like exciting times ahead for Villa fans. So now I'll call on my my sports personality in the studio. His name is James Bernard, or Jadad, and he's the I don't know, a lot of profiles that I can give for him. He's a sporting influencer and a brand influencer, sporting brand influencer, I should say, for brands. I don't want to do adverts for you for free, but
you have to.
yes.
You have to. My guys are watching. Get Fit guys, they are watching.
Okay, all right. You heard it right from his mouth. And so now, Jadad, which of the stories have actually caught your attention the most?
Since we are in Ghana, I'll still continue with the first story concerning Nswatrema and Kotoko and our own Poli who passed away. I think we as a country and our leaders need to be up and doing. May 9th, we experienced May 9th, and some
tragic.
Some other form of the same violence when it comes to our Accra Sports Stadium, Baba Yara, and all those mini stadiums. And one thing is also the fact that we lack better management when it comes to our sports in general, especially the football aspect, because we have club licensing board that before a league starts, they have to go to the stadium and check whether they are fit for the game, especially the Ghana Premier League. And if you look at the stadium, Nswatre Stadium that last Sunday Kotoko played over there, it's very bad for the screens. It's very bad for the screens, and I think we need to do more. We need to do more. It's like if you want to beat somebody up, or if you want to have a revenge on somebody, if you do
it on the pitch.
Yes, with that side, you are free and it's free. You don't have any punishment that will come to you. And our leaders need to be up and doing.
All right, so our leaders need to be up and doing. And now another story is saying that Maxwell Konedu has been sacked shortly after being appointed for Black Leopards in the South African Championship.
You know, if you go to South Africa, you always have to be on your A game.
Yeah.
Because that place, they do football and they are doing it very well. The pay that you are going to earn over there at the end of the month is very huge. So you always need to work and work hard when you are there. And I think because of what he did with Nswatrema, as sometimes Kotoko, winning the league, his pedigree, so they thought he will help them very
well. And also
well
the local Black Stars as well.
Fantastic, yeah. So they thought he will help them to just gain promotion to the Premier League proper in South Africa. But hey, that's football for you.
Yeah, that's football for you, definitely. And I want you to touch on Aston Villa and then their signings that they've made so that we round up for sports this morning.
It's good. You know, Aston Villa is still playing in the Champions League, and I think they need at least some quality players to add up to the ones they have in the next stage of the competition, the Champions League. So having Marcus Rashford and other players, Disasi from Chelsea and other players to augment the squad, I think is in the right direction. And they need to go far. They need to go far because apart from Chelsea and then Nottingham Forest, who has won the Champions League from the London side of England.
Yeah.
I think
Aston Villa, Birmingham, and then they've also won that before.
So I think we need more hands because the likes of Liverpool, Merseyside, they are going high, and Manchester United, Manchester too, I think. So the London guys need to add up and win more Champions League.
All right, so the London guys need to add up and win more Champions League. So I've been having this discussion with James Bernard, who is a sports blogger and then a fashion a sports brand influencer for a lot of sporting brands, including Get Fit, which he runs on his own. So this is how we round up in the world of sports. My name is Nanaya Osari, and today I've been doing this with James Bernard, aka Jadad Sports, and this is how we are going to pause here and go for our next segment, which is the business segment. So do stay for the rest of our programs. Don't go anywhere. This is Cocoa Digest.
Hello, good morning, and many thanks for joining us on the business segment. Here we provide you with the latest business news, expert analysis, and market trends that will impact your business and investment decisions. My name is Peter Insia, and now let's get started with our first story. Total bid for treasury bills in January 2025 amounted to 40.59 billion Ghana cedis, with 38.45 billion Ghana cedis accepted, surpassing the government target by about 39%. Investor interest treasury bills has risen significantly, with average weekly bids reaching 7.8 billion Ghana cedis compared to 5.3 billion Ghana cedis in 2024.
Monetary Policy Committee has kept the benchmark lending rate at 27%. Analysts believe rejecting high interest bids could gradually reduce yields. However, strong refinancing needs may constrain this decline. The treasury market continues to be the primary source of domestic financing, with improved investor confidence boosting liquidity. As yields remain above 27%, demand for treasury bills is expected to stay robust.
Away from that story, local pension fund assets under management are projected to hit 100 billion Ghana cedis by the end of 2025, surpassing earlier expectation. According to David Tete Ami Abe, Deputy CEO of the National Pension Regulatory Authority, speaking at the CFA Society Ghana's third annual forecast dinner, Abe revealed that the industry initially aimed to achieve this target by 2026, but is now on track to reach it a year earlier.
We are estimating to hit about 100 billion maybe by the end of this year, the AUM. And in our strategy document, we thought we could do that by 2026. But the hit that I'm seeing in the market, we may hit 100 billion AUM by 2025. But we all know during the DDP that we all woke up one day and we realized that 85% of pension funds are in government securities. And a similar percentage of collective investment schemes are in government securities. And when government coughed, we all called the code, and it was very frightening. So I was listening to you attentively when you kept mentioning the alternatives. Now, at the last review of our investment guideline, we moved the alternative to about 25%. So if we are looking at 100 billion, then the 25 billion Ghana cedi pension funds available for the alternative. Now,
and in our last story, petrol prices are expected to rise by 1.9%, bringing cost per litre to around 15 cedis 72 pesos, while diesel is projected to increase by 2.1%. And that's all we have for you here on the business segment. My name is Insian.
had supporter of a political party who is in power, you wouldn't get a ministerial appointment, especially to be part of the cabinet. You wouldn't get that role. It has been people who have been speaking for the party when the party was either opposition or speak on current affairs. That is what we see now. So in as much as you are there in the name of a political party, let me use that word, to occupy that public office role, when you get there, you lay aside that political party, lay aside that conflict of interest. That is what we want to see. That when you go in there, are you going to pursue the agenda of the Ghanaian people, or you're going to pursue the agenda of the person who appointed you? So that is the point I think we need to come to. People need to understand that, for example, President Mahama didn't appoint you there for you to go and fulfill the promises of the NDC only, but you are there to fulfill the promises of Ghanaians. You are there to fulfill the promises of the good people who voted for you and who voted for that government. So the last thing I would say is enhance public confidence in the governance we have. We know over the years a lot of issues have been surrounding our governance system. People are complaining there's no transparency, there's no issue of like transparency. So vetting is actually a place to enhance interest in our governance system. It's quite unfortunate that the structure is not really followed. It's structured in terms of time, as you mentioned. I don't understand why you would spend over hours, 3 hours, 4 hours, 6 hours on a particular person, and when you get to another person, you spend 30 minutes, 15 minutes, 10 minutes. What is the reason? Are you trying to tell Ghanaians that a particular ministry is important than the other ministry? Or you are trying to tell Ghanaians that the person who has been assigned for that role is important than the other person? So this is the issue that some of us don't understand. Let's treat all equal. If it is 1 hour, it should be 1 hour throughout. You shouldn't treat someone 30 minutes and you give that other person 1 hour.
So before we tackle the fairness, he mentioned he actually mentioned about self-interest. Yes, and people have raised concerns about some personal attacks on these ministers. We would want to talk about that, but before then, we have a political analyst who will be talking to us shortly. He's on the phone. He's in the person of Joseph Entry Befi, and we'll love to pick his mind. His doctor, So here's Dr. Joseph Entry Befi. We'll love to pick his thoughts on the brouhaha or the chaos in Parliament. Hello, sir.
Yeah, hello, good morning.
Hi, Doc. Good morning. Please, how are you doing?
I'm fine. The only problem I have is that your voice or the volume is too low. I hardly hear what you are saying.
Okay, that will be worked on. So what are your submissions on what is happening in Parliament currently?
Good morning to your listeners once again. Yes, you sit behind as a Ghanaian and you look at the behavior of honorable members of Parliament and you are concerned. The level of violence that will not even be tolerated at the level of a university education is what we are seeing in Parliament. One of the basic, most important rules in university education is that you can't fight.
Okay.
Once you fight, you are sacked from the university. And so, even at the level of university education, we do not tolerate this kind of violence, verbal, physical, or whatever kind of violence. I am so surprised to have seen this level of violence among respected members of the community we call honorable members. And they are not ashamed of the things they perpetrate. And the issue is that it is not even only in Ghana.
Okay.
You find this video circulating worldwide on TikTok, and the caption is the Vetting Committee of Parliament in Ghana. It is so ashamed, and I don't know why our honorable members keeps on repeating this level of violence. It is high time they sit back and reflect and stop such a blatant disregard for Ghana's law, because an ordinary Ghanaian wouldn't have gone scot-free. Because they are parliamentarians or honorable members, they do these things and they want to run away with them. It is so ashamed, and I don't think that this violence should happen ever again in the Parliament House.
All right, sir. Does this majority-minority divide seeks to divide us as a democracy governance? Because it looks like our government system is cracked.
I understand. In democracy, you cannot operate or run a democracy without dividing opinions. Okay. It is not done. You definitely see or have dividing opinions of individuals on issues left and right. So the issue of majority-minority is part of a democratic process, and we have to embrace it. You cannot do away with it. But what is important is the level of tolerance of the majority and the minority. When it comes to dividing opinions, the level of tolerance. And if you are not able to tolerate other people's view, then why put yourself up to be elected upon to be a member of parliament? If you don't have that emotional strength to tolerate other people's view, to the point that you have to physically manhandle somebody to get your point out there. Mm-hmm. How is it done? Where is this thing done? I have the version of the United States. I watched excess of it. People are really talking to issues. People are asking moral questions of the individuals we have put them there, because these are individuals who society will look up to, young people will look up to. They are asking moral questions. The one on the Secretary of Defense was so amazing, that all the drunkenness and the things he has done and the strip clubs he has gone through and all that are things that were thrown to him and he was able to answer. You are somebody of high caliber and young people are looking up to you. Are they telling us that young people should be violent? We saw a video at Accra Academy that a student is using a cutlass to more or less whip another student. We were all amazed. These parliamentarians are showing these students what they're supposed to do. At Adisado, we saw the level of violence that was perpetrated against another student. Why do you think these students are getting this from? They will watch TV, see parliamentarians misbehave, fight among themselves. And you want to tell us that they should only listen to what you say, but they shouldn't do what you are doing? How on earth does these things happen? So they are showing the young ones that the only way to resolve issues and not to accommodate people's view is through violence. So when we begin to see this level of violence at our secondary school and at our university, they are the ones to be blamed. You can't blame them for it. On national television, you wear a tie in a suit and you fight. You hold your friend on national TV, a member of parliament, and you fight that person. And you want to tell us that the youth shouldn't look at what you are doing. I'm sorry to say that if they continue, we are going to see worse things in our universities and our secondary schools.
Okay, so where do we see this heading towards, actually?
It is bad for this country. And if we are not careful, and these parliamentarians continue to show the nation that the only way to get your point out there is through violence, if we are not careful, one day, we will live to pay for this thing we are showing us on TV. We will pay for it because you are telling these individuals that you can be violent and still be right. And if somebody is a group of people start being violent, what are you going to tell them? You are seen on TV holding your fellow parliamentarians, pushing tables and chairs. What are you going to tell those people when you are asked to go and speak with them because they are violent? Will you have the moral attitude to go and instruct them to be very careful when you yourself have all these issues with you? It is bad for our country. And I think the earlier the parliamentarians will sit down and reflect on their actions and do what is right, the better.
All right,
because
sir.
We are taking this country to where we don't want to be.
Okay. Before I let you go, I want you to react on the Speaker's decision to suspend the 4 members of Parliament. Your reaction on that, please.
Okay. The Parliament has their own standing orders. They have rules. We have a constitution that governs every individual in Ghana. So if within the law, the Speaker has the right, has that powers to suspend these parliamentarians, why not? But if I was the Speaker and I had that power, I will not only suspend them, I will remove them from Parliament. Okay. And then run another election. Because this is so bad. Something like that happened in December 7, last 4 years. We overlooked it, thinking that these parliamentarians will reflect and do what is right. But it looks like they are not changing. If I was a Speaker and I had the right, I would rather remove them from Parliament instead of even suspending them. How is it that they think that they can do those things, do what they did, and go scot-free? And when somebody even touches them or pull their clothes, they'll quickly report that person to the police station and file a case of assault against that ordinary Ghanaian. So what the Speaker did in law, I'm not a lawyer, but in law, if he had gone through the laws of Ghana and it gives him that power, what he did is good or right. If he doesn't have that power, then it is a matter of lawyers and judges interpreting his actions and giving us what is appropriate. But I'm saying that even if I was a Speaker and I had that level of power and authority to remove them, I will remove them. And then we will run another election. Because
all right.
They do not deserve that seat in Parliament.
All right, sir. Your point well noted. Thank you so much for your input and have a great day ahead of you.
All right. Thank you. Thank you. Good morning again.
All right. Okay. So back to the studios. We are talking about fairness and personal attack on some of the MPs. That is what people are saying. It's not from me. So do you think they have been fair, the appointment committee? And is there any attack on them? Because it looks political. Someone is saying you did this last year, you did this previously. So it looks like they are attacking. Do you think it is what people are seeing?
I don't think it's an attack. This is because if one is nominated into Parliament to come or will be going for any ministerial position, it is the responsibility of the appointment committee to scrutinize the person, including their past deeds, because the position is not just a political position, it's a national position. And so whoever is going to man any ministries has obligations to go back to make an assessment for credibility's sake.
Okay.
And some people have also done or said certain things contrary to what they portray. And that is where you have the chance to, tell the real story there. You are now supposed to be scrutinized. And so, for instance, we have some of the appointees, like Okujatua Ablakwa, who is known to be advocating for, the good Ghana, and also naming and shaming people over so many issues, actually telling people about how they should live their lives in terms of fingering people and making judgments on people concerning all corrupt deals, alleged corrupt deals. He put those things out there in people's lives. Some probably will have justification on how they live. Some may not have. They were not judged. But then, of course, he puts all those informations there. So if you also have the chance to be there, to be scrutinized, it is for the appointment committee to have time for you and scrutinize your lifestyle as well, if your life is questionable. So, for instance, we know some people started, Okudjatu Ablako, for instance, he started student politics. Right from there, he got a chance to be a deputy minister for education. He was appointed by President Mills at the time to work. He had no, in fact, it's alleged, per what he actually gave, he actually had no experience or exposure in the job market. Of course, but people see him living lavishly beyond his, what you have been a minister, a deputy minister, as a young person, you've never worked in your life. The only work experience you could mention was
you
that...
You will come to Okujetua Ablakwa's issue.
But we are talking about the issue of why
fairness and personal attack.
Of course, it is not personal attack.
Okay.
Being scrutinized or ask questions relating to your integrity is not an attack. Okay,
so we witness questions surrounding his CV.
Yes, of course.
His personal life.
Yes.
You think they are okay?
They are very okay because your personal life must be scrutinized and known because you are going to handle the public purse. That is first. Secondly, you were out there equally subjecting people's personal lives.
Okay.
People who also had the chance you are going to have now. So if you have the mandate to scrutinize people's personal life, there must be a we must synchronize between your personal lives and then your office, because the integrity of the state is at stake. So for instance, the parliamentary enumerations or whatever, their salaries, parliamentarians are actually paid almost 11,000 after all taxes are taken. According to him, he's dedicated to pure political business, or let me say parliamentary business. He doesn't have any other source of income.
Yes. Before you go into details, let's look at what really goes into vetting. We have a previous former minister, finance minister. We have the video of his vetting. We want to take a look at what happened or what has happened in the past. Then we just oppose this with the current vetting.
That'll be fine.
Please, do we have? All right, so we don't have this, but I see you have a reaction to what he just said.
But you didn't make
I just want to say something.
Let him conclude in a minute, then you come in.
Okay, so as I was just saying, so if you have been able to scrutinize somebody, you are going to be given national pairs. We see you, people see you living lavishly beyond your salary. You are, even where you said you are renting, considering what you are being paid as a parliamentarian, and also considering where you are living and the apartment, and let me say the cost that goes into it. If it doesn't align, people have those appointing committee, they have the right to ask questions. Because where you are now going, there's going so much resources under your care, and you must justify. And so there's nothing wrong being asked questions. I mean, it's for him, he himself, to actually justify that, of course. I'm living this way, and it's because of A, B, C, D. But then if you are living beyond that, you should be able to explain, just as he equally asks people to explain their wealth. So that is in line.
So I see Airport Valley.
Yes.
Is that where he lives?
That's where he lives, in a mansion. Airport.
No, it's not a mansion. He said he rented the place. It's not his mansion.
It's a mansion. Where he lives is a mansion.
But he rented the place.
And okay, no problem.
Yes.
The question there comes, briefly before my brother comes in. You see, so if you are renting for the past 8 years at a place which cost almost $15,000, or pounds, and your salary is a little below, let me say, about 11,000. Don't you think people should ask questions?
All right.
Can I
people
say
should
something?
ask questions, but what's your reaction to that as well?
So I think, yes, Renoff is making a good point, the aspect of Okudzeto Ablakwa. Notwithstanding, we are looking at the vetting in general.
Yeah.
So why will you pick one person?
It's just an example.
I'm coming, not you. I'm talking about the vetting appointment committee. Why will you pick one person?
There were three people actually. Sam
Yes,
George,
I was going to talk about all those
then
people.
The
defense minister.
Defense minister.
Yeah. So why will you pick these people? It's like a target. That is my point. Oh, I said that's my point.
Yes,
you made a submission. Let me finish mine. I see it as a target. Why am I saying this? You see, all what we see on the appointment committee, it is not their doing. It is a fueling from their political parties. That is the truth. It is a fueling from NDC to the majority at the appointment committee, and a fueling from the PP to the minority at the appointment committee. So whatever we see at the appointment committee level, it is not of their doing. It is a fueling of their political party's influence on whatever is going on. On what grounds am I saying this?
I want to say something. You know, he was interviewed, Apenyo Marken, and he said there's pressure on him. That's
the point I was going to make.
According to the chairperson of the committee, Apenyo Marken has been saying he's been pressured by the NPP people or the NPP members. So, as he said, I think it is an influence from the party as well.
That's the exact point I was going to, because in the press conference yesterday, Afenyo made us understand that everything that happens in Parliament, especially the forced suspension, he's supposed to inform the party. And now the party is involved. So yesterday at the press conference, we saw the chairman, we saw the secretary, general secretary of NPP.
Which people frowned on because they are not minority in Parliament.
They are not minority in Parliament. And that issue, the press conference, happened at the Parliament House. So what is your role there? So that should tell you that the various parties have influence in their caucus in Parliament. So I wouldn't blame the actions of minority or the majority, but I would blame the foot soldiers and the leaders of the political parties. For example, the issue that my brother raised on Afenyo Marken, Okudzeto Ablakwa. Why Okudzeto Ablakwa? I would say because of oral. And when you listen to the interview throughout, oral came in all then. And it was challenged on the floor of Parliament, and at appointment committee level too, it came up, it was up there. Aside that, when it comes to someone like Honorable Akando, that's the former deputy majority leader, Ama Kofi-Boah. What issue came up? Ama Kofi-Boah raised a concern when President Akufo-Addo gave out the speech, presidential statement at the floor of Parliament. And his response as a majority leader, that's at the end, the majority leader was not there. So he was supposed to respond, and he makes certain statements that statement was brought before him at the appointment committee.
Of course, yeah.
Why do you think it came there? Because there has been a fueling from a political party trying to tell their people that let him withdraw the statement he made. It's not because they want to do what they are doing. It's because people are on them, pressuring them. Aside the political leaders, political supporters are also influenced. They play a greater influence on what we are seeing on the screen. Because your support, the people they voted for will be like, why are you sitting there for these people to do this? Why are you not taking action? Why are you not? We've heard a lot about the chairman of the committee, and a lot of people are saying that it should be changed, it should do this, it should do this. Why? It's because of the influence from the political leaders. So I would say that everything we see on the screen, it is not because they want to do. It's because they are under pressure. They can't tell us everything, but they are under pressure. Aside that, on a point that I would disagree I would still say why you would spend so much time, especially 6 hours, on a person and spend less than 30 minutes on someone. Someone like Honorable Akando, yes, he's going to a place of health. Health has a lot of issues. A lot of issues. And you will spend just 30 minutes. You want to know about the policy? You want to know about his competency. You want to know about his qualification. You want to know about what he's going there to do, of which we know about health, a lot of health-related stories, within 30 minutes. And what is the reason? Because he's a good person and they know him. Like, really? Is that the basis of doing vetting? Aside Akando, we made mention of Greater Accra Regional Minister.
Linda.
Linda spent less than 20 minutes. Yeah. What is the basis? Linda is good. We know Linda can do the job. So, Linda, I wish you all the best.
When Marken said that they pleaded on behalf of Linda that because of she being a widow, they wouldn't want her to be scrutinized like that. He came out to say it.
No. Let's put widow aside. You are going for the job.
So he was cornered, actually.
Yeah, it is not a basis of widow. He should say, sorry. It's not a basis of widow. Let's call a spade a spade. He's there for the job.
Facts?
Oh no, it's not a matter of facts.
I'm
saying that
it's about canning them, trying to win them, than to go hard on them. If you want,
why would you go hard on someone and not go hard on the other?
No,
that is my point. I'm coming. I'll get to that. That is my point. So, if vet, for example, I think on Friday the structure for vetting on Friday, I think Thursday was out. When you look at the outline, they were supposed to spend 1 hour on each nominee. But they end up spending 5 hours on some of them. And at the end of the day, you see, so let's look at the cause of the chaos scene. The cause of the chaos scene.
Are we there yet?
So
let's
we are not there
quickly
yet.
watch the video of the chaos, then we will quickly tackle that.
The following emergency measures are to be taken with dispatch.
And their personal issues.
Okay.
It is their mandate to scrutinize them. And of course, things that you have done in the past must be looked at if you come before the appointment committee. And there's not even an exception. During the time 2017, the former finance minister,
Ken
Ofori-Atta was vetted for 2 days. Honorable Eslawusu for almost 7 hours and more.
But Ken Ofori-Atta's issue was because of COVID, and he didn't have the time to produce some documents he was being requested of.
A lot of things have been waived. the documents that they were asked to bring or submit, they could have continued the vetting with it another day unless they have seen it. So the committee were doing their work, and they are still doing their work. I don't see anything wrong with it. But then I believe that if you have a questionable character or questionable past, I mean, it is for you to, it's even an opportunity for you to, I mean, tell us what the real issues are.
All right. So let's take a quick break. When we come back, we'll continue with our discussion. I welcome you back. This is the main segment of the Cocoa Digest Morning Show. We are talking about vetting and all the issues that are surrounding the vetting process. So we've witnessed some meetings by minority, majority, and everybody that are involved in this particular chaos in Parliament. I have with me still Clementi Abankwe and Reindolph Oforifa Owari, who are talking and speaking the issue actually. And I want to pick their minds a bit. Remember, you can also share your thoughts and comment on this particular issue. Are the minority doing well? The minority or the mighty minority and the mighty minority, huh?
Mighty few minority.
Mighty few minority. Are their stands justified? What they are doing actually, is it justified? Or you think they are just doing some because they want to feel their presence to be felt, actually? What do you have to say about the chairperson? Do you think he has steered affairs well?
I think the man has done well. Currently, he's trying his best. Unfortunately, there are some people among his team who are giving him problem. And sometimes you can see from the videos.
Okay.
Yes. Ashaman MP, how do I even say? What's his name? There's his best to manage this. You see, when it comes to politics, it is purely influence, interest. From the NDC side, from the NPP side, there are interest. And so, one, if you need a leader who is matured to be able to manage egos and all that happens. And there are a lot of backroom stuff that happens for both parties. But then, how he manages the place, it seems some of the NDC people are not happy about it. And so they give him a lot of pressure. Sometimes you can see they even chanting. And I think there were some instances where he has to even shut or calm down one of the members from his side. I don't know if it's I've forgotten the guy.
Adwejiri.
No, I've forgotten this guy.
Part of the majority. Or
the majority.
Majority. Okay.
He's been consistently worrying the man. Okay. But then I think the man has so far done well. Even though sometimes the people think he's supposed to put his foot down and all that.
Exactly.
But then that is not a monarchy position. It's a democracy angle, and they have a lot of agreements. They have a lot of understandings before they come. So of course, if a minority leader is on the floor, you cannot stop him.
All right.
And it has happened. I mean, it's a normal practice. If another person, he is there to guide, and to guide the entire discourse and to make sure that it's in line with their standing orders. But then, if it's in line with their standing order, he cannot stop them from asking those questions. But then the majority have been giving him problems. They actually find a way to sabotage him through the social media.
Majority.
Of course,
I'm not saying majority.
The majority has been sabotaging the whole lot. Their social media team has been giving him pressure. Their people, has been making a lot of unsavory comments about him, saying he's dull, he's this, he's that. But then he's a matured guy. If he hadn't managed the situations very well, it could have been worse. This is because it's purely interest.
Okay.
So as my brother was saying, they are influenced, NPP people are influencing, that is not. See, it is.
He was talking to the specific questions that have been asked.
I'm not talking about
both
questions.
influence parties. I never said NPP.
Well, you mentioned certain things, so I didn't want to go there. But
So
then what I want to say,
what
I want to say is that there are so many interests in this.
Okay.
This exercise they are having, there are things that goes beyond the television. And so whatever we see, I think we should manage it. Unless it goes into violence, that we can, they should look at it from there. But then apart from that, they align with their duties, and then it's a parliament, a democracy we are actually experiencing. They will all not come at the same point. At a point, they have to have divergent views, which is acceptable. And of course, the parliament is a house of debate, a house of controversy. But then at the end of the day, after everything, they go ahead and then they go on the gentleman agreement and all that and accept stuff to go on. But then, per what I am seeing, the leader of the place is in line with his duty, and then must be actually be given the chance to.
All right,
lead
and
the
I've
House.
seen Alpenio Markin sometimes when he's questioning, he doesn't have anything to say. He just sit there and watch him. Is it because of the unlimited number of questions?
Of course.
So I think
if Alpenio if he has his chance to ask questions, you can't stop him, and it's been their practice.
And
if you
people
watch
are arguing
other ones,
that this particular norm should be changed.
That
it
is the
should
point.
Be reformed. You should give a limited number of questions, because if you are saying you are going within a 1 hour span, you can't give unlimited number of questions
it's not right.
You have to be within time.
Exactly, need to be within time. So I would say something that he made mention has been the practice.
Yeah.
Yes, I understand, but we are growing. We are, as a democracy, we grow. We don't repeat. I'm sorry to say, something we ourselves know that it's worrying us. Why do we keep on doing it? We are growing in democracy, so let's grow over these things. So I'm trying to say that because you spent, for example, 2 days on a particular minister some 16 years ago, you want to spend another 2 days on another minister today? No, you can't do that. People are watching. People time. They are investing their time in this thing. So why would you keep Ghanaians waiting till 2 a.m., till 10 p.m., till 11 p.m. on certain questions? Now, there is a poll someone did, and he said out of the poll they did, about 74% are saying that questions being asked are not related to the policy or not related to the subject matter. That is a policy conducted by someone. So are you trying to say that because some years ago someone spent 7 hours in the voting room, today she spends 7 hours in the voting room? No. Time is precious. The reason why Ghanaians or Ghana, our economy is really not growing the way we want to grow is because of the value for time. Value for time. Time is money. And we need to prioritize anything we do in this country. If it is 7 a.m. to a particular show, it should be 7 a.m. You shouldn't wait. The officials will come there at 8. You've wasted 1 hour. And we want to grow. We want things to work in the country. And we are blaming leaders. We are blaming subordinates. No. Let's start from there. I was in Parliament last week, and the Speaker of Parliament was addressing the House on these same issues of violence, of misconduct, of post-election violence. To that point, I think Honorable Alpenio Markin even brought out a statement on post-violence issue and what they should do. So Speaker addressed the issue drastically. He spoke that day. Everybody in the House realized that he spoke as a father. So if a father speaks after all his submission, the next day or two, he realized that this same thing he talked about is happening in his house. What do you think the father would do? The father will be very angry. So in as much as it is in line with their standing order, they should be guided. In as much as it is in line with the law, it is in line with the Constitution, they should be guided. They shouldn't just say that because I have the right, so I'm supposed to. You see, I was listening to someone, the person said, even the Bible says that we have the right to do everything, but not everything is expected of us. Yeah. So I'm not pinpointing anybody, but to the committee, even if you have unlimited time, sorry to say, let's use it within the time frame. We shouldn't be like, because you have unlimited time, then use it unlimitedly. No. So people are making a submission that the standing orders of Parliament need to be looked at. Yeah. We need to review certain things in this country. Thanks to God that they've set up a Constitution Review Committee. All these things, they should look at it. Certain rights in the Constitution that need to be changed are supposed to be changed. We can't keep on moving like this as a country. We can't keep on repeating what we repeated in 1992, in 2000, of which the white people they are ahead of us more than 50 years. So are we going to keep on crawling? On the issue, let me just talk a little bit on the issue of the chairman. Yes, the chairman is doing very well. I would say, as he said, some people expect him to act very strong and keep quiet, sit down, like that kind of thing. I think that is not his style. On that note, on the day of chaos, I saw leadership in the majority leader, Honorable Mahama Yarga. And as a majority leader, he was so He was so quiet, trying to calm the situation. He's the leader of government business. He could have also acted. He could have also exploded because of the attitude, but he was so calm. He was trying to settle dispute to an extent that when even two MPs were even, like, let's say, fighter, not to say two lawyers. We are saying we are in the rule of law. But you see the situation. So when dialogue breaks, these are the things we are going to say. I was listening to one MP on one of the, I wouldn't mention his name, on one of the media houses. And the word he used was, when persuasion fails, force must be applied. So I'm trying to tell us that when persuasion fails on the place of dialogue, you use force to pave your way in. No, what are you teaching us? Let's speak to the matter as, what are you teaching us? Are you teaching us that when we go to schools, when we go to our workplace, and we don't agree to decisions, we are supposed to fight with force? No. Parliament, as my brother said, is dialogue. It's a place of debate. So even if you don't understand something, like what happened on the last Thursday, if the majority seems they are not, for me, I would keep quiet and sit down, or I just walk out. That could be the best way, so that nobody will tag you as you are doing the wrong thing, you are doing that. No, just keep quiet and sit down, or you just walk out. Ghanaians are watching. It's not like Ghanaians will get to know that, oh, these people were doing the right thing, but this thing happened. So Ghanaians will take action. But if you think they are trying to infringe upon your rights, you are also coming back hard with a force. That is what you are going to see. And I wouldn't be surprised. I'm not trying to say it, but I won't be surprised that something like this will keep on happening in Parliament. Because that kind of dialogue is not there. That kind of debate thing we need to do is not there. The issue of suspension of members of Parliament, I think we will go there. I saw a press release by the Minority Caucus. It's a good thing. The only thing I will say, yes, they should pass through the legal means and get things done. But the question is, are they doing that because 3 of their members have been suspended, or they are doing that because of all members have been suspended? Other school of thought says that, why is the majority also not coming together with the minority with a statement? I know yesterday, Honorable Fayemakin did an interview, exclusive one, and he made mention that himself and Mahama Yaragadi are engaging the Speaker of Parliament to see what they can do on a situation like this. I think that is the way forward. As Parliament, we shouldn't let your issues be heard in public. This thing shouldn't come out. As Speaker of Parliament, as Speaker of Parliament says that it has detained the image of Parliament. If you've been there when Speaker was addressing the issue, like
he did it passionately,
very passionately. He spoke as a father. Yes, I would say that he should look at the procedure for the suspension, although, but to me, it's a good thing. Because if students, SHS students, when act wrongly, can be suspended and even ask their mothers to come and sign bond
all the time.
Come and sign bond, even at the school. The parliamentarians also need to do it so
all
that.
Right. So let me read some couple of. I'm not cutting you. Sorry. Let me read couple of messages we have coming up. We have this from Emmanuel John. He says, "Greetings to my brother Randolph." Yeah, there's another one which says that, "Good morning. The distraction we see on the street is not different from the distraction we saw at the vetting committee. This is who we are."
No, this is not who we are.
All right. Another says that, "I think members of Parliament should be..." Okay, so let me rephrase this. It says, "I think members of Parliament should be called to book because the whole world is watching us. Their attitude in Parliament is a shame to our democracy. Most of the questions they ask are personal attacks to others, which is unfair." Okay, this one has no name. So, Randolph.
Yes, madam.
Minority and their reactions. Do you think
is it
do you think
minority?
It's justifiable?
Is it only minority?
No, we are talking about the chaos in Parliament today.
It's not only minority that actually reacted.
But let me pick your thoughts on this. Let me pick your thoughts on this. Do you think general Parliament needs anger management, some sort of anger management? And You are saying it's not only minority.
Yeah.
You think their reaction is justifiable? Are you trying to justify their reaction?
What we all watched on TV wasn't minority issue. It was appointment committee issue. And it's because, according to what we have all heard, initially it was agreed that 3 people were going to be vetted. Out of the 3 people, the other side or the majority came up to say, oh, we want to add another one. And another one was added. They came again that the 5th person was added. That was the gentleman agreement. Now, during the vetting, when it was 10 o'clock, then they were done with the last person. About to rise, and then other people also were now lined up to come and sit and continue the vetting. And then they asked that, where from all these people? We don't even have their documents. So that is where it started. When you go on an agreement with somebody, and that agreement is blatantly ignored, you cause a whole lot of dissatisfactions. And that happened there. And so in their quest to probably protest, that was when you can see in the video. And then the other side also started challenging them that if they don't want to do it, they can stand up and go. And they said, no, we will not stand up and go. We will not leave the place. And then it all started. So whilst we all talk about the minority, we should also be very fair to them. Because if we have all agreed on something, why do you act in bad faith? And that is the problem. Parliament is supposed to be managed with dialogue. It's supposed to be managed by agreement. Because both sides, they have their own way of operations. And so if you are actually going there, if Parliament is in operation and certain aspects of issues that are supposed to be addressed are not well taken care of, you bring some of these issues. And this is not the first time. Minority have actually made up a lot of issues. They've raised issues relating to even the clerk of Parliament, the clerk for the committee. They've raised issues about, some members of the committee and how they manage certain information. And at the end of the day, it caused some of these things. So we should be very disciplined as a people.
So are you saying what they did is justifiable?
It is never justifiable.
Okay.
It is shameful that Parliament has to come happen in Parliament. But then the other aspect also is that there are always 2 sides of issues. There are 2 sides of the coin. In as much as we are condemning the entire act or condemning the minority for probably reacting that way, of course, then you could see a lot of majority people also making all kind of gestures, making all kind of.
I don't want to put a point
okay,
that we are not condemning minority.
No,
I just want to say
were in
wait.
the minority and 1 was majority.
That doesn't justify it.
We are only put something on record that we are not condemning minority.
No
we
problem.
are condemning the act.
It is
so that
the
people
act.
won't be
I have
like
condemned it. But then the issue here is that Parliament actually functions better when there is dialogue, when there is understanding.
That's the point.
That's the
underlying
point.
factor.
And so for us to see our MPs on TV behaving the way we saw, it's highly, unprofessional on the side of Parliament.
Okay.
And it shouldn't be entertained.
Okay.
That notwithstanding, on the issue of Speaker suspending some number of parliamentarians or the committee members, it also doesn't justify that, because per their mandate or even the Constitution doesn't even give the Speaker any authority to do that. There are procedures. The Speaker do not have the powers to suspend anybody. The Speaker do not have any powers to suspend anybody at all in Parliament. the constitution and the parliamentary proceedings.
So you are saying the speaker should have waited for the right thing to be done. He
Exactly.
shouldn't have taken any action.
See, they have modus of operations. There are privileges committees, which at worst, that is where the speaker would have to assign these people to go and meet a panel, and then they work on that. But then the speaker do not have the powers to say, I am sanctioning A or B or C without even hearing them.
Okay.
So on what basis did the speaker sanction these people? On the basis of what he saw on TV, even in court, even in the Bible.
But he's the leader. Shouldn't he take any reactions? He can't. So if you,
that was
you have
purely
a father
judgment.
in your
He
house
actually
and
judged.
you do something,
Parliament doesn't work that way.
Correct?
Parliament, wait, you had about 20 minutes.
We are actually limited to the time here. We have
but
like seconds to.
I'm coming.
Can you wrap up shortly in seconds?
Parliament works with law.
That's what you have to say.
Yes, Parliament works with law.
Okay.
The Speaker of Parliament, irrespective of happenings, do not have the authority to sanction anybody unless they've gone through the processes. Okay. So on what basis is Speaker sanctioning them, and then at the end of the day, now putting together a committee to come and judge what?
All right, that's fine. What's your reaction?
So
and let's wrap up on
my
this.
reaction is Speaker act
in seconds
on the interest of Ghanaians. Notwithstanding, I know there are laws in Parliament.
Yeah.
Sometimes actions need to be taken immediately, and that is what Speaker has done. I'm not justifying it, but what I'm saying that what Speaker has done to me is the right thing.
But
no,
the minority
has
has written to the Speaker to do the right thing.
Yes, the Speaker
one
do not
comment.
have. I just wanted to. The
From
Speaker
Daniel,
do not have the authority.
Daniel says that lawmakers are now breaking the laws they made. What will the citizens also do? All right.
Irrespectively.
So let me just say like
okay, let him find
what I just want to say is that I'm not justifying what the Speaker did, or I'm not justifying it. What I just want to say is that what the members of Parliament did, one, is wrong. Two, the swift action taken by the Speaker of Parliament, to me, is a good one.
Was the best. All right. So this one is from Kelly Roxon. He's saying fixing a broken country requires a lot of energy, strategic planning, collective efforts, cooperation, and transparency. NPP are more concerned about futuristic Ghanaians than now. So everything has to be done genuinely in accordance with the will of the people and the law. Cutting corners can put the entire country at risk. So this is where we wrap up on the main segment of Cocoa Digest Morning Show. I know you have reactions, but unfortunately our time is limited. You can still let them come and maybe react to it on social media. Thank you so much and have a good day ahead of you.